Welcome to episode 3 of Corvid Conferences. We are the Babble Birds, and today we will be discussing remakes and adaptations, I believe it was. I am Jay.
I'm Magpie.
And I am Crow.
I guess I'll just start with How to Train Your Dragon. Because that had a recent remake, and I watched about half of it. It is nearly identical to the original, from at least how far I got into it.
Same composer and everything.
Which kind of made me think, if you're going to do the exact same thing, why bother doing it? And I know that people don't like it if you change too much, because then it's disrespectful to the original. I think there is one part of it that was really well done, though. They added in the lore about the founding of Berk. So in it, Berk was basically a bunch of different tribes from around a bunch of different areas that joined together to create Berk, specifically as like a forward base in the war against dragons to find their nest. So their literal culture was built generations ago solely to fight dragons, which makes the impact a bit bigger, I think. And
I do like that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of take that headcanon and just add it on to the original How to Train Your Dragon.
Do they go into like the founding of Berk in any of the TV shows?
Not that I remember.
Okay.
But they're very much...
Instead of doing a short about where they discuss the founding of Berk, they do a whole new movie, which is the same as the original, but they include a little tidbit.
Just a little thing that I kind of liked. Mm-hmm. It didn't justify the creation of an entire movie, but...
So I was hesitant to start this off, but then you jumped right into How to Train Your Dragons. Do you forget that How to Train Your Dragons had a book?
I do sometimes forget that, but the movie isn't the same as the book. At best, it's vaguely based off of it.
How to Train Your Dragons is the perfect franchise for this topic due to the fact that there was an adaptation originally where the book got an adaptation to a movie. And then there was a remake where the movie got remade. And I bring this up because, kind of calling myself out here though, the social media I'm most commonly on is Tumblr. And there's this Tumblr post I saw. I'll attach it when editing if I find it, but the Tumblr search function is notoriously difficult to manage. But there was a chart someone made where there was an x-axis and y-axis, right? And on one axis, it was good movie, bad movie, right? And on another axis, it was loyal adaptation, unloyal adaptation. And How to Train Your Dragon is disloyal adaptation to the books, but great movie, right? So it was one of the movies that was used as an example because of that. Like, it's a great movie. It does not follow the books in any way, like, other than the names of the characters and the setting as being a, Viking town, but they're entirely different stories.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the book was, like, dragon training or something was, like, a part of their culture, right? Versus the movie had as they hate dragons, and this is a new thing.
Yeah. And so, like, there's tons of other movies out there, so I will probably keep referring to this. I like it, the X and Y axis there. It gives a good visualization for the fact that it can be a loyal adaptation, but a bad movie, and it can be a disloyal adaptation, but a good movie, as well as loyal and good, which is, I think, what a lot of people want.
I think loyal and good is what you want from, like, a book to movie, typically, like if it's a novel.
Yeah, or book to TV show.
Something like that, yeah. You want it to be loyal and good, versus most live-action remakes are either not loyal enough or not simply new.
Or too loyal, yeah.
Or too loyal.
Yeah, and Magpie brings up a good point. Movies have a limited runtime, and there's only so much you can condense the story. TV shows allow for a little bit more freedom. However, TV shows have a different structure entirely than novels. TV shows have the A plot, B plot, and sometimes C plot, and you have to give them all, a certain number of, like, time and effort. Yeah. So that's different than how a book is structured too. Even though books have multiple subplots, they don't always have them episodically consistent
Yeah.
throughout the story.
Like, I kind of disagree. I think a TV show is better for books because they're able to put, like, 4 chapters into an episode and they have clear start and end points. The same way that, like, chapters do. You can make it more episodic.
Yeah. But most commonly you see book to movie.
Yeah. Well, I also like the more creativity that comes from adapting it to a TV show. Like, kind of designing where the episodes should end and start off, and designing the A plots and B plots. I like that creativity freedom.
Okay. So there's maybe more creativity, but creativity can lend to less loyalness.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the Hunger Games books. Pretty much all of them. I haven't read the newest one, the Sunrise on the Reaping, yet, but the other ones I've really liked. And I remember liking the movies a lot. I watched just the first one more recently, and I felt it was pretty unfaithful. Like, it had the same general plot points, but it kind of hurt some of the more deeper stuff and deeper, like, discussion that was in the book. I need to watch the other 3 movies, not counting Songbird and Snakes. That has different issues. That I think mainly has issues with the movie's runtime did not give it the time for the book. It is a long book.
I think the Hunger Games, like the original movies and stuff, are a great example, though, of loyal adaptation, but it falls short and that's another thing we need to discuss is the different medias have different strengths and weaknesses. When you're reading the books, you're in the characters' heads, you get their thoughts. People were complaining about, Katniss being very blank-faced in the movies and stuff and a boring character, and it was actually technically a loyal adaptation, but because you're not in the character's head, she does seem very blank-faced, boring, but Katniss is like, in the books, you hear her thoughts where she's trying to keep calm and keep blank-faced and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, even though it was a loyal adaptation, fans still, like, if you did not read the books,
Yeah.
you're still missing out on a layer of connection to the story because you're like, this character is boring, I don't get it.
I agree.
Like, the book, they can get away with saying a lot of stuff, like, especially, like, Katniss and Haymitch, they have kind of an unspoken connection. In the book, it's actually, well, not spoken, but,
Yes.
like, it's iterated out for the audience that we know their connection. Like, you can tell, like, she knows what Haymitch wants based on this line of reasoning.
Yeah.
In the movies, we have to do it through visual storytelling a lot more. Or, just straight up cutting away to Haymitch, which, can take it away from its, she has to figure out what Haymitch wants and what the audience thinks of it.
Right.
Versus in the movie, we just cut to them and we see what they think and feel.
Now,
Yeah.
one thing I often do when I'm reading is picture how would they tell this visually, but that's because I've studied film and I've done this and done that. So, like, not everyone will be thinking about that, but it lends me, like, a new perspective of, then I watch a movie and I'm, like, able to, reverse engineer it to, oh, this is probably how they were trying to visually show that. But yeah, it's entirely different mediums. People don't always show what they're thinking on their face.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think you just need to accept that the audience might just be too stupid and some audience might be too smart for you to dumb it down.
Yeah.
And then you get they just spelled it out. It was so boring. I didn't get to think about it at all.
I'm
versus
a big fan of
they explain nothing.
just make your creation without worrying too much about playing to the audience.
Yeah, I said that to someone the other day of an artist does not think about their audience. I mean, there's a level to that. Like, obviously, if you're making a movie, you can't not think about the audience.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the best stories were made simply to be good. They didn't care about the audience.
Yeah.
The reason why we're getting so many live-action remakes and stuff is they're caring less and less, I feel like, about unique stories and more going for this is tried and true. We've seen how this makes money, and they only care about making more money.
Yeah, which we should go away from as much as we can.
Absolutely.
We should go more for original, like, ideas and more stories, just more stories.
That risks the companies. Every movie's probably someone's favorite. But if it's not enough people's favorites, then they're going to lose out on money. They take that hit, their company can go down. So it's really hard because they have to balance something they know is going to make a certain amount of money versus a risk.
At the same time, we've seen, like, that hit, like, with a lot of the newer Marvel. People don't like it. And a lot of new Star Wars, people don't like it. Like, how much money did the Acolyte, how much money did that make?
Probably enough to still make more Star Wars, though. So, like, even though it was not the best story, it still made enough money.
Can we all agree, though, that the problem is Disney right now?
Like, the thing about it is...
The problem is monopolies and big companies, yeah.
Not taking risks is just a slow decline, whereas taking risks is hit big or miss hard.
But how much are you and your typical average audience willing to give those indie films and small-time companies a chance? There are creative stuff being made, but we're not able to find them and discover them as easily.
I actually kind of disagree with that.
And
I think
we have higher standards for those indie stuff, or if they don't meet the standards, then we kind of judge them. And they have lower budgets, so you do blame them for, like, bad CGI and maybe bad acting because they weren't able to hire the best actor. But we're just simply not giving them, like, they just can't compete at the same level, and yet we're still judging them at the same level. I think is a big issue there for indie films.
I don't think that really fully justifies it, though, because, like, there's a lot of, like, movies that have come out in the past 5 years that I'm like, do I care about that? I might wait and see what people say about it, because I'm not gonna go spend $50 to go watch it in theaters when it ends up being awful.
What theaters are you going to that are $50?
Okay, that might be an exaggeration, but they ain't cheap anymore.
No, they're not. But...
Yeah, well, what if it's because of so much adaptations and remakes that it's cramping the world of the movies and shows that people are watching, and people just aren't getting out into more of the movies and shows because there's so much remakes and adaptations.
And I think theater culture is dying down. Like, fewer people are going to theaters. And then if you do go through all the big effort to go to the theater, there's probably only just one movie that you're interested in seeing. You don't get you go to a theater every other week and see a different film and get, all the films that are out at the time seen. So people are picking and choosing what they most want to see, which I think then you're not going to go see an indie film that you know nothing about.
Yeah.
Even if it is in the theaters.
There's good advertising and people get the word out.
Which takes money.
Yeah.
That only the big companies have, yeah.
Some of the most fun I've had watching movies is movies that I've heard nothing about. I got a basic premise, and I was like, oh, that sounds like maybe interesting. I've had some of the best times.
And, like, I think sometimes you do get an indie film that makes it good. Like, I have not seen Flow yet, but it's been recommended to me, and that one's won awards. And there's not a single word of dialogue in the entire film. It's animated in, like, a more experimental style, but, like, it resonated with a lot of people. But that's just one example of so many others where people have tried to do the same thing, and theirs didn't make it as successfully. They didn't get lucky. The word of mouth didn't work quite right. Flow, at least because there was no words, didn't have to be translated, so you didn't have to pay for those translators. So it had a little bit of an advantage in some ways, but also it got lucky in other ways. But also, yes, it was maybe a genuinely good story.
How many really good movies have completely flopped and then have made a resurgence years later, like Megamind or something, where it wasn't the most popular movie, but now it has, like, a cult fan base?
Megamind. Wait, did Megamind research? Because I just have been consistently a fan of it.
That's why they made a sequel that no one liked.
There's a sequel?
Exactly.
I mean, the first movie was great. I've always been a fan of Megamind. I think, I mean, if
Yeah.
it wasn't as popular, it was because it was made, like, in the wrong time. I can definitely see there as being a resurgence probably when people started getting bored about Marvel movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or like Avatar: The Last Airbender, when like COVID came around and it had a massive resurgence because people were stuck and like recommending shows.
That
and
was
stuff to
also,
people.
it was on a new streaming service. So people, like, we always had it on CD, but people who didn't have it on CD didn't get to watch it as kids.
DVD.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
You're so young, you don't even know the difference between a CD and a DVD.
We always had it on DVD, but once it got put on Netflix, it was available for so many other people, and I was actually really happy about that. I know there was some people that was like, yeah, but I've always been a fan of it, and you're a new fan of it. But, like, don't gatekeep shows and, like, good media.
You know, something that I thought about like a month ago. I don't remember the first time I watched Avatar.
Yeah.
It has always existed in my life.
Absolutely, yeah. And there's other things that, like, same thing like Star Wars. The first time I watched A New Hope, I have no memory of that. I always knew that Darth Vader was Luke's father, right? I just always knew. For the audience who's not aware, our parents kind of had this rule where we were not allowed to watch PG-13 movies unless we were either 13 or had parental permission to watch, or if we had already seen it before, we were just allowed to watch it.
Yeah.
So,
and some of the movies we had already seen before were Pirates of the Caribbean.
Jurassic Park. I grew up on the Jurassic Park movies. I love those to death.
I still need to watch that again because I've only seen like the first one somewhat recently.
Those and Star Wars, like, we do not remember the first time we'd ever seen them. We just always seen them, and maybe part of that goes to the fact that we have older siblings.
Or our parents just were like,
gave us permission really, really young to the point that we don't remember.
Yeah.
I mean, A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back are pretty tame. Like, Return of the Jedi has like Leia in a bikini, and that's like the most mature thing.
There's also people being disarmed and stuff, but we're
Dismemberment is perfectly suitable for children.
depending on how it's portrayed. Yeah. So there is a nostalgia too for a lot of these, which I think is why remakes are being made, is because they're also trying to take advantage of nostalgia to guarantee that there's going to be an audience for their film. If there's guaranteed an audience, then there's guaranteed revenue.
Yeah, and even if they get bad opinions, it was still a watch, so...
Right, exactly. Someone still gave it a chance, and that is still money in their banks.
But I think that is still slowly killing it. People keep losing trust. Like, you can't keep doing that and expect it to keep working. It works short time, and then you actually need to make something good so people gain trust in you again.
And that's maybe also partially why less and less people are going to theaters, both because it's expensive and we're all poor, but also because we're like, I'm gonna wait till it comes out on DVD. Are things still coming out on DVD? Wait, no,
I think is stuff even still coming out on Blu-ray?
Oh, Blu-ray, that's the thing that replaced DVD, that's right. I know you can still buy them, but they get released eventually. But people are like, I'll wait till they hit a streaming service, or I'll wait till I can watch it at home. I don't want to spend money in the theaters. I'll wait till later, and then I'll know going in whether or not reviews have been good or bad. So eventually it'll die out. Like, any person that I've spoke to, like, we're all tired of adaptations and remakes being so prominent.
Yeah.
So eventually it'll get to the point where it just dies out. But there will always be people who don't read the books who want the story. So there's still, like...
So that's why I think...
Accessibility-wise, I don't think we should hate on all adaptations.
Yeah, like, a good adaptation for, like, a book should be... It keeps the main premise intact, the same story, the same beats, the same, reason for the story to exist. But it allows it to reach a different audience.
Yes. And that is a thing, too. Like,
but then you have to be, like, super loyal to it. If you just want the same thing, but for a different...
But see, as I was saying, like, you can be super loyal and it'd still be a bad movie.
Well, yeah.
I mean, if you do change the medium and the audience changes as a result, you can't not think about the audience.
Right?
Yeah.
And on one hand, I'm like, I get mad at the fact that people want movies to be exactly like the books. because I'm like, just read the book then. It's always going to be someone's interpretation of it.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's bad. I think, I'm going to talk about fan fictions there. Fan fictions, people take the same characters, and it's their interpretation of the character. And I've read some beautiful interpretations of, like, characters where someone really got into their head and was like, this is how I think this person thinks, and this is why I think they think that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you can get some really valuable discussion with multiple people dissecting it. And that's why I think adaptations can be good, because it's another person dissecting the original story, figuring out this is what I think is valuable in the story. This is what I want to tell. This is what I think needs to be changed. So I think you can get some really great, beautiful storytelling.
Yes.
I've read some amazing fan fictions where I'm like, this character has been mischaracterized so awfully, but the fan fiction is still amazing.
That too. I had this experience. I did not read the Artemis Fowl books. I started reading them as a kid. And at the time I was like, this character is a brat. I don't relate to the character. And I like gave up on reading it because I just wasn't in the mood for... I do love character arcs and character redemptions and character going from a worse character to a better character, but I was not in the mood for it at the time. And I've since then never gotten back into it. But I had cousins who loved the book so hard. So when the movie came out, I, knowing the movie was not going to be loyal, was like watching them more than the movie to try and figure out their reaction, whether or not they're going to be upset. And their reaction really interested me. They're treating the movie like it's a fan fiction of the books. And so they're like, this is what I liked, this is what I didn't like, but overall it was enjoyable to watch someone's creation of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that honestly changed me forever, because before that I was on team
be loyal.
Adaptations should be loyal as much as possible. And yes, I understood that the media was going to have like limit some options, but that changed my perspective so much. And now I'm just want adaptations to just be good stories. Like, and I don't think the Artemis Fowl movies was 100% the best story, but them treating it like what it really is honestly someone else taking the story and is like, this is my interpretation of the story. That is completely 100% fan fiction. Like, that's what fan fiction is. Someone else taking a media, being like, this is my spin on it, this is my interpretation on it. What if this happened differently? This is what I think would happen. But it's their take on the characters, their take on the setting. Like, some fan fictions are entirely loyal to the setting, to the world building, to the characters. But something else, happens.
But then again, you can make your own thing, like How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah. And that's a great example of it was not loyal to the books, but they took the world and the setting, they just told a good story.
Yeah.
And I think there's some different points on that too. Like, yeah, it can be a great movie, but if you're changing it, it should be done for a good reason, because otherwise, why even bother with the franchise?
Yeah.
It's just for money.
And defend that reason. Don't just assume that you're right.
Like, the Percy Jackson.
I was going to talk about Star Wars.
You first.
We've discussed previously, like, the Ahsoka TV show, how... who is it that directed the Ahsoka show? I'm forgetting his name.
Filoni.
Right? He's done other great works.
He's been on some of the best Star Wars stuff, and then Ahsoka was so mid.
And we came to the conclusion that it was mid because he stopped defending his choices of why he changed stuff. He just changed it and expect the audience to keep up and follow along. Why did Sabine become Ahsoka's apprentice? And then why did they break up? Like, that could be a really interesting story to watch that. But no, they're like, nope. She tried being Ahsoka's apprentice, then it didn't work out, and you just have to accept that. We're not going to explain any of the whys. We're just going to jump right into later after they've broken up, when there's already been history. And I'm like, that could be good if you, helped us get from, you go from, step A to step C without explaining step B. And it makes me confused.
Like, we could have an Ahsoka prequel, I guess, season or two.
Right?
Where we see her become, Fulcrum, And then we see her interactions like the Ghost Crew, which can lead into a second season where we see her and Sabine training or whatever.
Like, I'm not saying it was a bad choice to have Sabine trained to be a Jedi, but I would very much like to see that character arc instead of just jumping from, oh, she's a Mandalorian to, oh, now she's like she's a Jedi dropout. Like, where's all the in between she's a Mandalorian rebel, which is awesome in its own right, to she's a Jedi dropout. And you're like, those are entirely different characters. Where's the arc that connects?
Yeah.
Like, it's beautiful when the end character and start character seem like different characters, but you've seen the arc, you've seen the growth, how they get from point A to point B. We didn't see that with Sabine. We didn't see that with Ahsoka.
And they made Sabine a totally different character.
And yeah, it made her feel like a different character because of that. So there's, like, downsides to fan fictions, at least. The author knows they don't own it, so they, like, defend it to heck and back. They're like, this is why I think it should have happened this way. This is why I think this character should be more like this. Because they don't own it. But I feel like when they've worked on the project too long, the author's like, no, this is how it is. You guys just have to keep up with my mind despite the fact that we're not in your brain. Like, we are not in your brain. You have to explain it to the audience. You don't have to baby it to the audience, but you have to explain it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
And with a visual storytelling method, that means showing it.
Yes.
Show, don't tell.
Yes.
Or show, don't say that it happened back then and you should have kept up.
On the same topic of, like, defending changes, the Percy Jackson TV show, first season, I think the second season's airing right now, haven't gotten to it yet.
No, it's out now.
Fully?
Yeah.
Alright, well, anyways, I don't know that, so I'm going to talk about the first season. Is that, like, as a show, perfectly fine. As an adaptation, it made some changes that I think hurt the story overall. Like, they have a lot more god characters that were introduced, like, given actual roles, like Hermes and Hephaestus. And that kind of, for one, it demystifies the gods. You have too many at once. Versus, like, in the book, we got, like, Ares, and he had a tangible aura and effect on the characters. And then we met Zeus and briefly Poseidon at the end. We didn't get many of the characters, whereas in the TV show we got a whole lot more. And then they also made it so that, like, at the end of the season, spoilers, Luke, when he betrays them, is witnessed by Annabeth. Annabeth sees him attempt to kill her friend. Whereas in the books, that didn't happen. Annabeth's arc is kind of not able to believe it. Because she cared about Luke so deeply that even when finally faced with him, she couldn't quite believe it, which ended up being good in the end because he ended up being good in the end. In the TV show, they kind of made the change of she's literally seen it. And can you justify that?
One thing I did note about the TV show was that they were focusing on, like, the books had so many themes and stuff, but the TV show was like, we are going to focus on these things that were maybe lightly touched upon in the books, but we are going to make them more prominent.
Like
they
absent
100%,
parents.
lean into the parent thing. They give his mom, Percy Jackson's mom, way more screen time. Like,
Which is
really
That's
good.
a good addition.
It was a choice. There was pros and cons to it, I feel like.
I say no cons.
I think if you're going to add in more, that was a good way to do it.
Yes, if you're adding in more. Because the book just lightly was like, yeah, he was a kid with issues, and it was probably hard for his mom. And they're like, no, it was totally hard for a mom who has kids with issues, which I think it's valuable because then you get all those other mothers who struggle with their kids who have issues, who can then, like, see representation in movies and stuff.
More representation for those struggles that the kid is going through.
Yes.
And
I related so much to this show.
Yeah.
they did make a change in her character. In the book, like, it happens off screen, but she totally murdered Gabe and his friends.
Yeah.
In the movie, it was Gabe accidentally kills himself.
Yeah, in the movie, and then what they do in the TV show.
Or in the TV show.
Yeah, the TV show, he opens the box accidentally.
I completely forgot there were movies.
Yeah, the movie, yeah. I think it was an accident in the movie too. It's been a while since I've seen it.
I don't
Whatever.
think they ever showed it.
Whatever
actually.
it was. And Gabe was a really bad person in the books. He was kind of toned down in the TV show.
And that's a thing too, because why? I know you wanted attention in other places in the story, but if you're gonna
In the book, it was an abusive relationship, but it happened mostly off screen until the very end.
Mm-hmm.
In the TV show, we got a lot more of it on screen, and it just straight up wasn't.
Wasn't
as,
abusive.
It was bad. It was unhealthy.
They were so focused on making the mom a strong, independent female, they forgot to show that she was an abused victim.
That she chose to be with an abusive husband to protect her child.
Which is its own strength. We were talking about quiet strength in our female
in the
characters
last episode.
Yeah.
I like the TV show's portrayal of Stinky Gabe.
He's just kind of a man-child, though.
But
they soften him.
Yeah, but I like that because
he's weak, not villainous.
It's realistic. And how they changed Sally to become a little bit more strong. But I liked that. Why would this stronger version of Sally ever stay with a really, really, really bad guy?
You read the book, right? You know the reason.
I do know the reason.
Yeah,
the reason was to keep her child safe.
I'm saying I like that he's not super bad because it's more realistic.
If Gabe...
Tragically, though...
If Gabe
more
ever,
abusive is also realistic, and I'm a little bit mad that they shied away from bringing awareness to the fact that abusive people exist, seriously abusive people exist. He was lightly abusive in the show, but it was they're shy and nervous to portray someone as abusive. And I'm there are people that are abusive in real life, and I think we need to bring awareness to that.
Maybe they didn't want an abuse.
I had a really...
Which was a choice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a really stupid idea for a spin-off show for a TV show.
Okay.
So you guys remember Kids Next Door, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the idea for a spin-off show about abused children in which they're basically the darker side of the organization. They go and help other abused children get out of their circumstances.
Oh.
One character suffers from depression, their older sibling straight up killed themselves and they found the body. And then another character had alcoholic parents who beat them and stuff like that. And I'm freaking tense abuse, deal with talking about the circumstances.
Yeah. I think there is value in talking about the darker side of things.
And I was
bring awareness to it.
Yes.
And there are some people, and I get a little bit mad at them, some people who don't want to hurt feelings or don't want to do this, do that. And so they shy away from all those hard topics.
Hard topics are great because they should provoke feelings. That makes you willing to change the system.
Yes.
To stop it from happening again.
It needs to be a discussion that we do regularly talk about, even at younger ages.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, anyways, my main thought was the original audience of Kids Next Door are adults now. They can handle the adult topics.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it'd be a rated R spin-off show.
Okay.
It's never going to get made, but
I know.
I
had 3 seasons plotted out. We'd have it touch and it's happening in the background of the original series.
Write the fan fiction.
Literally.
Write the fan fiction.
Write the fan fiction.
All the kids in the main cast of Kids Next Door are battling something, literally. But it's
and that is the strength of the show, is the show has them working through their issues through their make-pretend kids secret agent games, which I think the show was pretty good. It was enjoyable, but also they were working through real issues.
And I need to rewatch that with an adult perspective because I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Number 1 was battling cancer.
That's a theory. That was never confirmed.
He has an absent mom, I think. No, wait, no he doesn't. No, his mom... No, they just never show the parents. He has a mom.
Number 4 was dealing with, being the older sibling, because didn't he have, a younger sibling that got the attention and stuff? So, that's something that kids go through that he was working through.
They all have a younger sibling, except, 2 of them.
I think number 5 had an older sibling, so... And they had their own sibling issues, too, and fights.
Oh, yeah, an older sibling, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, it wasn't, like, too serious, but I think that,
But it was
there's
real.
a door open for them to bring that to more serious stuff.
Yeah.
So, basically, there's a door open for them to adapt Kids Next Door.
Should I make that fanfiction?
Or maybe even just a remake, but with more serious subject matter. Like,
Yeah.
that is an example of there's value in potentially remaking or adapting that. Bring it back to topic.
You've got to have something more valuable to bring, and that value can come from just deeper topics.
I had like 3 seasons plotted out. Maybe not the episode plots, but like the season plots.
Overall arcs.
Nice.
Yeah. And I think the value that they're adding needs to equal the length of what, like, because we were talking about How to Train Your Dragon. They added maybe a little bit of extra good in, but is that little bit enough to...
Yeah, they need to add enough good to justify its existence.
Yeah, to justify a whole film.
As well as any other changes.
Because I think a short film, you know, a few minutes long, where they discuss Burke and its formation and stuff, that could totally be awesome. I think short films have become you give it to the students, you give it to the interns, the people who are still making their way up. And I think those are great for students to get their foot in the door and whatever. But I think we need more shorts where it's like, take place in How to Train Your Dragon universe and just release it. And there's so many streaming services now, you can just release it to the streaming service.
Yeah.
Have it be a couple, like, maybe just a TV show of just spin-offs for How to Train Your Dragon universe. And you don't need to make whole freaking films when, like, little shorts are enough. You can have live-action remake for shorts. Do the Burke with those actors that were in the live action, but for a short. Like, I don't think we see live action shorts that often, and I think there's value in that if you wanted to interpret them in live action.
The best thing about the Avatar The Last Airbender live action remake was the visuals.
Are you talking about the TV show or the movie?
It's another thing where I forget the movie.
TV show. The TV show.
The TV show? Yeah.
Yeah, because...
I can't remember much of the changes, but I think the Boomy stuff I thought was interesting. Like how it talks about how you kind of did abandon them.
Yeah.
And like the impact that has. Granted, the TV show also murdered Aang's character by making it so he went out on a stroll and got caught in a storm. Like, it wasn't even his fault. Versus the original where he actually ran away from his responsibilities.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I don't think I ever finished the TV show.
I don't think I did either.
They did do special effects cool, though. I'll give them
the
that.
special effects were really, really good. So I love watching the Blue Spirit escaping from prison with Aang. They do that really well in the live action, I think, because just the whole, like, visual thing was really cool to watch. But anyways, it's the live action Avatar The Last Airbender TV show is really good if you're watching just a scene by scene kind of a thing.
It has good scenes, but maybe doesn't stitch together the correct way.
Yes. It has really good scenes. That's a really good way to put it, yeah.
And I just remember at one point they had multiple storylines for multiple different episodes shoved into the same episode.
Yeah.
At some point, if you're going to cut stuff, just cut it.
Yeah.
But see, had they done a scene for scene remake, then we'd be in the same boat being like, why was it scene for scene? We have the animated already.
Because it's just a different media that's really cool to watch.
If they were doing shorts, they could have done, here's the scene in live action.
Yeah.
And you just watch these cool scenes that take place in the Avatar: The Last Airbender universe reinterpreted into live action, and that's their sole purpose.
Yes,
like,
we
that
need
could
more
be cool.
of that. There are some really good scenes in that show.
That probably wouldn't justify any costs that might exist.
I think that we should popularize
the low
shorts,
budgets.
though.
Yeah.
People need to give shorts a chance, watch more shorts.
But it could not
give
just
indie films
not just on YouTube, but maybe
too.
Netflix too, or I don't know.
Yeah, all those streaming services, instead of doing remakes, just do series of
I don't know
shorts.
if it will be like more expensive or like whatever, but they need to make that more popular. You're right.
Yeah, it might be more expensive. I think they should value storytelling over expenses.
Yes.
So we need to give indie film studios more chances.
Yes. And we need to value storytelling over expenses more.
We need to not critique those lower budget movies for their bad CGI.
Remember Hoodwinked?
That
was really good.
Movie.
Low budget, it looks awful. The story is fabulous.
Were they actually low budget, or was it just a stylistic thing?
I think it was actually low budget.
Okay. But see, the story was good enough that I'm like, I think it was just a stylistic thing. Like, I just accepted it.
Yeah.
Because the story's good.
Monster Truck? You know that one where...
Monster House, you mean?
No. It's a live action where these creatures go underneath the truck and spin the wheels super fast. So...
What?
Anyways, it's a really good show.
I'm thinking of like the Pokemon, the Pokemon that are motorcycles.
But
I was thinking
the point was it took a lot of money to make, and it actually put them in debt a little bit. But I think it's a really good movie.
I'll have to watch it then. I don't think I've heard of it. It's called Monster Truck?
Monster Trucks? Or
something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Huh.
It's a live action, and it's not unknown actors. Like, the main girl in the movie is also the same actress that plays Zoe in Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, but it's like when she's a little bit younger.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah, it's like, I don't know why it didn't get that popular, but that was maybe one of the problems.
I mean, I haven't heard of it, so maybe it was advertising or whatever.
Advertising wrong, yeah.
It sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it. It sounds vaguely familiar.
It also sounds a little bit boring. So maybe that's why, too. Like, it sounds boring even though it was done well.
It's an action movie.
And
basically.
I'm not the biggest fan audience for action, so I'm not...
But I love action movies, so that's what I liked it.
Anyway, back on topic of changing versus staying the same, or just new ideas in general, we can't not talk about, like, tropes and cliches. Because they kind of... Tropes and stuff exist because they make sense, because they are good.
Yeah.
And
they're a tool for storytelling.
And, like, you can do, like, it's a twist on the trope or whatever, but you need to have the normal tropes to balance it out, because otherwise everything is not even a trope anymore.
And once again, Megamind is such a great movie because we have other superhero movies to compare it to.
Mm-hmm.
We enjoy Megamind because we've seen...
Superman.
Yeah. I haven't actually seen the newest Superman. I still need to watch that.
Mm-hmm.
Controversial opinion, I didn't care for it.
Okay.
I liked it.
Like, it was nice and wholesome, but it kind of shoved a lot in. Like, we got a whole bunch of superhero characters, and I kind of really didn't like the portrayal of Lex Luthor. He was kind of a man-child the entire time. I'm thinking back to, like Justice League and stuff. He was a little bit, but that comes from the entitlement of being a billionaire. It's not quite the same. I think a trope becomes a cliche when it's completely overdone. They have their place, and you need to know how they work if you want to make a twist on them.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it's fine to take a trope and have a trope.
Yeah.
It doesn't automatically make it uncreative.
Yep. No, tropes have their purpose.
With the new Disney live-action remakes, that there's a lot that they really should not have done.
I didn't even see the new Snow White.
Me neither.
Or the new...
Oh yeah, they did make that.
I didn't do Dumbo.
I didn't see...
They did a Dumbo?
Yeah.
That was years ago.
Does Dumbo even have a plot? It's been so long since I've watched it.
No, it doesn't really have a plot.
Well, the animated ones kind of... It used to be your favorite. Oh, I had to put up with it so often because it was your favorite.
I haven't looked back on it.
Really,
The live action probably added more of a plot. Was it enough to justify making a whole movie?
No. With the live action Beauty and the Beast, I think it was justified by the fact that it was a musical, and they just added on top of the musical as well. They did add a few new things.
But as I was watching it, I remember having this thought, because I saw Beauty and the Beast in theaters, and I remember having this thought in the theater of like, oh, the animated did this scene better. Oh, the live action is doing this scene better. And I'm like, what if you just stitched together the best scenes of both versions?
Yes.
And so I'm like, there is, like, I did enjoy lots of scenes of Beauty and the Beast. But, once again with my shorts, like, what if they just did remake the scenes that were better?
Yeah.
And just, they didn't need to do a whole new film. They could have just added in scenes.
Yeah, agreed.
Added in the new songs, like, release those separately as being, like, in the same universe as Beauty and the Beast.
They just need to make a new story. Do you know what they did with Princess and the Frog from the original story? They took the fairy tale, they made it, they said, how about it's in a totally different time?
And a different setting. They reference the original, but just let it be its own story.
Deeper.
Wait, is there even an original? All I know is the trope of a princess kissing a frog.
Yeah, there's an original story.
There's an original story.
Well, I think, like, in the Brothers Grimm version, she doesn't even break the curse with a kiss. She, like, throws the, frog against the wall, and that's what breaks the curse.
Brutal.
There's, like, different... But that's the thing with the fairy tales. Once they're old enough, there's so many different versions.
Yes. So, that's what I think they need to do with the Disney live-action remake.
Is just make even more new versions. Just make
a new story. Yes. Like what they did with Maleficent. I think they just need more of those instead of an exact replica. Because you don't want that. People don't want that.
Actually, I did enjoy Maleficent. I haven't seen any of the sequels. But
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they need to do what they did with Princess and the Frog and just add, like, new things and a new story to their original story. Make it, like, a random time and a random place.
So you're yes for adaptations, no for remakes.
Yes.
A lot of people would stick them in the same category, so it's interesting that you're very distinctly separating them.
Yeah. I am. The themes could stay the same, but just, like, push more into the theme of what if this, with this culture and this place and this time.
Okay.
And see how that could make it grow a little bit more. I've had a brilliant idea for a Little Mermaid adaptation.
Yeah?
I was like, what if it's...
That's another one they did a live action for.
What if it's...
I didn't see that
in
either.
the 80s in Germany.
Okay.
And that's
in the 80s, like...
Berlin Wall.
Yeah. Okay.
Wouldn't that be cool to add to the theme of The Little Mermaid? Of, like, but there's walls.
Germany...
Metaphorically and physically.
So, is she still a mermaid?
Yeah. But it would be like...
But you get another layer of symbolism and...
Another layer of symbolism, exactly.
Okay.
And she would just, like, come up to the shore, and it would be, like...
So I'm thinking, like, the Berlin Wall, I don't think is on the coast.
I don't know how it would work, but it would be, like, the themes... themes that you get from The Little Mermaid.
I think there's value in that, yeah.
Yeah.
I almost think... Because, like, World War II is an interesting time period.
Yeah.
Or, like, Cold War. Like, I'm thinking, like, maybe Denmark or Amsterdam.
Leaning toward these dark
or
time
maybe
periods.
I know, but
or
maybe more for kids.
Norway, I think.
We could teach
like
a whole new generation really good life lesson stuff.
Like during World War II, like
a kids' medium.
Oh my goodness!
All these
the prince is actually like an admiral during World War II.
Yeah, like that would be so cool.
Okay, but there are things that do that, like Chicken Run being like an allegory for
stuck in the concentration camps or whatever.
Yeah, it was concentration camps.
Prison camps.
Yeah, prison
Wait,
camps
what?
and stuff. You need to rewatch Chicken Run, but yeah.
I know.
Oh, Chicken Run. Oh.
Not Chicken Little.
I was thinking...
Chicken Little.
Why do I get those mixed up?
Because they were right next to each other on our shelf, and you just always mix those up.
They were alphabetical.
Alphabetized our DVDs, and they were right next to each other.
Yeah. You just always mix them up. But
yeah, Chicken Run, that checks out, though.
Yeah. Man, it was mind-blowing.
But it also isn't in your face. Like, it's... The comparisons are there, but they didn't use it to make any statements. They were just using it as a tool to tell their story about these chickens.
What kind of pie? Apple. Chicken.
Oh man, that was mind-blowing when I watched it and I first realized, like, oh, this is a prison camp.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh my gosh, this is such a good movie.
But it was still a good movie, like, even if you weren't aware. It's for kids, right? So
Yeah.
kids are able to see these chickens and be like, oh, the situation, these chickens, and they're not that good. And then they learn about prison camps. And because they already have a basis of understanding of, oh, this is a not good situation, they're able to, like, relate it, and they have something to help them understand it.
Anyways, you mentioned, like, stitching together the scenes to make a better version. I mean, I've grown up playing The Force Unleashed on the Wii. I recently played it on the PC, and I kind of went through it, and I'm like, this is some stuff where it did it better, and this is some stuff where the Wii version did it better. And I think stitching together in that way is really interesting. Like, in general, the Wii version is shorter, the levels are shorter, and it's, like, constricted by the device, because the Wii's not the most powerful device.
Mm-hmm.
But as a result, the story was mostly better on the Wii. Like, it had some stuff that I liked in the PC version, but overall, the Wii version just straight up told it better.
So, like, what I was doing with Beauty and the Beast, you're doing with the video game adaptations.
And, like, yeah, they had some interesting stuff. Like, I like the theme or whatever, but then it was, like, the story was done better. Like, the level design in the PC is pretty good, but the Wii version, like, tells the stories better. We've all seen Wizard of Oz. My roommates made me watch Wicked,
I have not
part
seen
1.
it yet, because I was waiting for part 2, but now part 2 is out, and I just need to binge it.
That's kind of an adaptation or a remake or whatever you want to call it, kind of.
Yeah, it's interesting because the movies are adaptations of the plays, which are adaptations of the books, which are
Adaptations.
No, I would I guess I would call that an adaptation of the other books.
Like, it's not meant to be, like, directly tied to the movie, I don't think. But it's also the same story, you can't
Once
deny
again,
that.
the Wicked book was more of a fan fiction of the Wizard of Oz book. There you go. Like, not like they weren't trying to be a loyal adaptation. So yeah, I guess adaptation is the right word, but like...
I didn't even know there was a book.
I've got it on my shelf right there. See that? That book? That's it right there.
Okay.
Oh, Wicked the book. I thought you were talking about The Wizard of Oz, the book.
Oh, that's not on my
Anyways,
shelf. No, Wicked the book's
I don't know exactly
Wow,
what
okay.
steps were taken to get it to the movie, but I don't think it's a good interpretation. It kind of felt a very boring interpretation of what if the bad guy wasn't the bad guy, and it's not nuanced at all. It just, yeah, she's the good guy. That's it. That's it. Nothing else.
There was...
But it's not what if the bad guy wasn't all that bad. It's what if the bad guy was actually secretly the good guy. Like, and you're in the wrong. So...
I don't know.
No.
Maybe I've seen too much of whatever the Acolyte thought it was being, of making the bad guys more nuanced. But that's happening a lot more in, like...
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't think it was a good way to do it. I think it would have been more interesting if, yes, she is in the right, but she also does bad stuff. Like, she takes it too far. I think that would have been more interesting.
Yes, and I think there is more of that.
Yeah.
Just, I think by the time that it made it to the movies, it had been so washed out.
Yes, it had. But
And maybe
they
that's the
wrung
problem.
out all the harsh edges of the
theater
characters.
is very political.
Mm-hmm.
It's very political.
And what this...
Like I see what they were doing about, like, racial discrimination. I'm not
Yes.
blind.
That's basically...
But saying
whole reason of
racism
the
is
movie.
bad is just boring. Like, yeah, everyone knows racism is bad. If it's someone who doesn't think that, they aren't your target audience.
Yeah. So, are you saying it wasn't necessary?
I think it was just an uninspired, boring way of doing it.
Okay.
Okay.
So his take is Wicked is uninspired.
Yeah.
Which I'm not going to disagree with. But know that it has fan audiences who would argue with
Oh, yeah, my
Yeah.
roommates loved it, apparently.
And musical people...
You know?
Okay, the songs were just good on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah, the song. I like the songs.
But the people that...
This might be the only time I ever say this. I liked Ariana Grande's performance.
See, I haven't seen her acting since she was a kid in those Victoria shows.
I think Belinda, what was it? Gullinda. I think that was a more interesting take on it of the good guy not quite being the good guy, because she was kind of the good guy. She was trying. It was a little bit fake, but she was trying, and she had some growth until at least at the end of part 1. I haven't seen part 2, and I don't plan to. It cultivated in butting heads with Elphaba. And I thought it was more interesting of adding character nuance rather than simply washing it away.
Yeah.
People that will analyze theater would defend Wicked really hard.
Have you actually gone to see a theater show in person that wasn't a student-made one? Because I would not qualify us as being theater goers.
No.
We saw Newsies.
I was not part of this. I have not seen Newsies.
But it was...
You and Jay saw Newsies.
It was a city...
I don't know. I don't even remember the plot.
Yeah, I didn't really like Newsies.
I think it was about unionizing.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I would not qualify us as being theater goers.
No. But I do know how to critically analyze stuff.
Yes.
Which counts.
Yes.
So you're a theater critic outside of the theater.
We're more cinema critics and not theater
story critics.
Yeah, I think we're just story critics.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And fairy tales have been around for thousands of years. So of course there's tons of different adaptations about fairy tales.
Yeah.
I would not say no to a movie adaptation of the Lunar Chronicles.
Ooh.
But see, that's a whole series. So
we should do what the Percy Jackson series did.
Make it like a
but
TV
show.
show.
The books are condensed enough to get them in a movie.
Probably, actually. No, yeah, actually, I think movies would be better than a TV show.
Maybe not Winter. But the rest of them are pretty condensed on their specific stories.
Winter, you'd have to do part 1, part 2. Is there a good even break in the middle? I don't know. That would be harder.
I still think that the time limits are limits that really
You're right.
cut deep sometimes.
A TV show adding more runtime would be helpful for anything.
Yeah, and then we could add just a little bit more depth into the characters and the themes.
I'm not actually sure if the Lunar Chronicles would work as a TV show, though.
Okay, maybe not.
Yeah, I think they would actually... That's an example of that would work better as a movie.
Yeah. Okay.
To summarize...
Storytellers should take their creative liberties, but actually make it really fun, creative liberties.
And justify their decisions correctly.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. And show, don't tell.
Mm-hmm. I like the take of adaptations are good, remakes maybe not so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think we need a lot more adaptations, but not remakes.
Because with adaptations, you're going to expect some changes, which it's impossible to not expect changes.
Yes.
We talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about
so much. Well, until then...
Farewell.
Farewell, I guess.